Well, hello, friends. Welcome to Monday Night Live Chat with Coach Nat. What is up? What is up, fam? Let's see here. All right. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Maria is on with me tonight. So good to have you here, lady. Long time indeed. We got 5150. Keto Warrior is on. What is up? Monty is on. Howdy, howdy. Checking in from Seattle. Shout out to the West Coast fam. Y'all haven't seen our photos with Monty yet. Badass photog. Please feel free to shout out yourself in the comments. Emily is on with us. What is up, fam? So, y'all, for those who haven't been around or have been around and haven't been seeing me live on Monday nights, history lesson here. I was doing Monday Masterclasses every single Monday night for years, a good 3 years or so, every single Monday doing a different topic. And this year, I pivoted a bit and I still have a whole bunch of masterclasses on a whole bunch of topics that have never gone public on my YouTube. Back in the day, the first couple of years I started doing this, they were on Zoom and they were only for my Facebook group, and you had to have an invite link, and I would have other ladies on with me on the Zoom, and then I would post them to my YouTube, and I would only share them inside my Facebook. So even the replays would only go to my Facebook group. And they were housed in there. And then many of them now live inside my Keto Bikini Academy group training and group coaching program app, where I share everything inside the app. So I still have a whole bunch of masterclasses that have never seen public airtime on my YouTube channel and are not in existence if you were to just go search my YouTube channel. So this year, things got a little hectic. Things got a little busy. I had some health stuff going on, and so I wasn't feeling 100%. And so, and I had some travel and things of that nature. So on Monday nights, every once in a while, I started, instead of doing lives, I would drop a previously recorded masterclass. And I did that a good 2 or 3 weeks, or even 4 weeks, depending on how many weeks in each month this year of the month. So I wasn't showing up live as often. So you could watch the replay and you could interact in the chat. Those chats are much more quiet than when I am live, of course, as to be expected. So some of y'all have told me you miss the lives. You want a chance to hop onto the lives. And I missed hanging out with y'all on Monday nights. So I decided I'm bringing back the lives, but they're not all going to be a deep dive masterclass topic. So, because that was the other thing. I was kind of running out of, you'll never run out of topics in the fitness, health, nutrition, especially the low carb space. There's always a topic to talk about. But the masterclasses are intended to be deep dives into some of the biggest misconceptions, questions, especially in the keto, carnivore, low carb space. And I covered a lot of the big ones already. And so now I use those as resources to direct people to when they need, my input on a particular topic. And so I don't always feel passionate about deep diving on a new topic every week. So I have kept alive until last month. We did not do a live Q&A last month, but I was doing monthly live Q&As. So here's how I see the Monday Night Lives going from here on out. My goal and my plan is to be here live every Monday night again, unless, let's say, something comes up. I am traveling to Atlanta at the end of this month, at the beginning of December, for Thanksgiving to visit the family, but also my assistant coach, Coach Mary Grace, is competing in her first competition. So she'll be on stage in Atlanta the first weekend of December, the weekend after Thanksgiving. So I will be traveling those 2 weeks. I think I booked, I think it's the 8th. I think Monday the 8th, I will be on a flight. Yes, I'll be on a flight during this time. So that's one that, for instance, I will probably just put out a previously recorded masterclass. But for the most part, my plan is to be here on Monday nights. Most weeks, I want this to just be a hangout. Like, let's come hang out. I will share hot topics, how I feel about the latest trending topics in the keto low carb space. There is one big topic right now that everybody's talking about that Coach Bronson and I just spoke about yesterday on our coffee chat, on our keto rehab coffee chat. If you have not seen the latest, yesterday's was a really good topic. We always get into, because we are passionate about the mindset and the habit change and the mental roadblocks and all of those things that matter more than your fitness program and your macros and whatever diet you follow. So of course we got into that, but we talk a lot about principles and the importance behind the concepts on those Sunday live chats. So I have that playlist saved to my YouTube, but Bronson has all of them on his channel. So if you're not currently subscribed to Coach Bronson's YouTube channel, check him out there. He says you better be. So check him out there. And I need to make sure I've added the latest. I don't think I added our latest 1 or 2 coffee chats to that playlist on my channel yet. So I will do that as well. And then you can find them all on both of our channels. Let's see. Any announcement? Oh, I have a big announcement. Actually, we just started a brand new training program inside the Keto Bikini Academy today. So our Sweater Weather Strong winter program, it's a 2-month program. It's running through the end of the year, through the holidays, through New Year's. So we technically started today, November 3rd, and we're running through January 3rd, Sunday, January 3rd. And then we will kick off, as we do every New Year, we always kick off the year with our Grace and Grind Challenge. I always host that now free. I do a free version inside of my Facebook group, Keto Bikini Secrets. Sorry, Monty, this one's only for the ladies. The Facebook group and the Keto Bikini Academy is women only. So we'll be doing the free version in the Facebook group, and then we will continue it, of course, in the Academy, where you can get training programs, macros, Zoom calls, weekly coaching, accountability, check-ins, and an incredible, incredible support community. So that's kicking off in January. From now through December into the new year, we will be running our Sweater Weather Strong program, which is all about building that lean tissue. And I just got a pump. I just lost my pump, actually. All the veins were popping. I was doing shoulders, biceps, and triceps today. So I was doing bicep curls, and there's one vein still hanging out with me. I'm chilling out a little bit now after the workout. But just because we started today doesn't mean it's too late to join us. I have actually not been pushing and promoting this out there. We just got quite a few new members into the Academy toward the end of October. And so, and then I was super focused on just getting the new program ready, making sure everything was good to go. So I've been very tunnel visioned over the last week. So I will be sharing more about the program. I will post the link. In fact, the link to the Keto Bikini Academy is always in the description of these videos. So you can click there to learn more. But I will be sharing a little bit more about the Sweater Weather Strong program out on the social medias this week. And you can join us anytime, because all you need to do to be a part of the program is to join the Academy. And it is a rolling membership. So anytime you sign up, it starts from the day you sign up. and you're billed every 30 days if you choose to do the monthly payments. And you can choose between month to month, 3-month, or 6-month membership with either monthly payments or pay in full. Lots of options. We are now FSA, HSA approved. So there is a avenue for using your FSA, HSA funds if you want to go that route for your membership. So just something to think about, consider, or even gift a membership to a friend or family member for the holidays. That being said, so that's the big news right now, new program, woo woo. I shared a couple weeks ago that I have ended my prep cut and I will not be competing on stage this year. So the next time I will be on stage will be in January on the Angel Competition Bikinis fashion show cruise. We are doing a Royal Caribbean cruise, and it will be the first time that Angel Competition Bikinis is doing a fashion show on the sea. So you can actually register for that if you are interested in walking in the show. I will add that to the description box as well. There is a link down there with my discount code because I am an ambassador for Angel Competition Bikinis. If you use my code, you can get 15% off any bikini, anything that Angel sells, any of their apparel, accessories, all kinds of things, and even on the fashion show registrations. So something, if you're thinking about it, you can comment below. If you're watching the replay later, comment below and ask me for more details, and I'm happy to share more there as well. I was thinking about what I might want to talk about over the next few weeks on these chats. One thing I will do, like I said, I'll talk about any hot topics. You guys are always welcome to share. You can drop anything in the chat here, actually. If you're on live with me, this week is an Ask Me Anything. So, and really, I'm saying that, but it's always an Ask Me Anything. If you show up to the live, you can always ask questions about anything. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Anything, any topics you want to hear my thoughts about, drop those in the chat. I have a couple already on deck. I had a great recommendation from Miss Amanda in my Facebook group today. So I'm going to pull that up so I don't forget about that, because that was an awesome recommendation. You can shoot me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook anytime if you just want me to add any questions or topics to the list for the following week. Now that I've decided I will be doing these every week, I will start dropping a weekly question box on Instagram and my stories. I'll start letting y'all know ahead of time to get your questions in the Facebook group so I can start collecting those in advance. Usually when I'm not so in the weeds with training, programming, and things inside the academy, I usually have some topics kind of swirling in my mind based on client check-ins, member check-ins. Now I review all of our member check-ins on Tuesdays. So tomorrow I will probably have a million different things I want to talk about, but they're going to have to wait until next week. But so far this week, I have a couple of, well, one in particular that's a very trending topic in the keto carnivore space, which I mentioned we talked about yesterday. And that is people leaving carnivore, quitting carnivore, adding carbs back. You know, how do I feel about that? What do I think about that? I will share those thoughts. If you didn't, I shared a little bit yesterday on the coffee chat, but we were getting into, of course, as we always do with Bronson, we get into more of the science side of it. But I'll definitely dive into that. And then really awesome suggestion from Amanda. She said, I want to hear you go off on how protein is being added to junk. For example, and she shares this with me.
And because I'm sitting here eating protein peanut butter with a side of protein Go-Gurts. What's that? I need to make dinner later. No problem. Let me just bust out my protein seasoning. Yes, this is a real thing, because if there's one thing that desperately needed protein, it's spices. Pop-Tarts, Uncrustables, everything's getting protein slapped on the label, even if it doesn't have that much more protein. Like this peanut butter only has 3 more grams per serving, and honestly, it tastes a lot worse. Ooh, want to know what else I just got sent? Protein soda. The only thing giving me a little bit of hope is it's from Bear Bell. Oh, it's also got 200 milligrams of caffeine, because why not just throw some drugs in here? It's not like anything matters anymore.
Okay, y'all.
It tastes really good. Pineapple Sunrise, they nailed it. It's just with all this.
This is a live reaction because I had not watched that whole video. I just saw the clip, or I saw the thumbnail that had the protein.
I also feel like protein is getting a little.
The protein Skippy peanut butter protein version now. Yikes. So she says, there's enough protein in real whole food sources. I don't think the items above will contribute to a healthier society. What do you think? Oh boy. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, Erin. Exactly. She says, like the protein they're adding at Starbucks now, which is incredibly garbage. There were some baristas that were sharing how nasty that stuff is on their social medias. So yes, I will definitely talk about that. Monty, topic, new to keto, healthy, crunchy snacks. Oh, do I have a treat for you. Pause for the cause. I'll talk about this one first because this is an easy one and it's a fun one. Okay, this is Bronson's favorite crunchy snack. And we have a discount code, of course. Pork King Good. Flavored pork rinds. This is sour cream and onion, white cheddar. And those are the party size bags. They also have these. This is the regular size. The regular size bags are pretty small. So these are better because you're going to open a bag and eat the whole bag regardless of the size of the bag. So it's better to have the little bags. But smoky jalapeno and cheese. I just ate the dill pickle bag today. I think this is nacho cheddar. And this is another sour cream and onion. And then there's a whole bunch. Oh my gosh, they have a salted butter that's really good. And let me show you what else they have. They have a dessert line, a sweets line, where they have a birthday cake, cinnamon churro, apple cinnamon, tastes just like Apple Jacks, and what's the other one? Butterscotch. And then they just recently came out with a strawberry shortcake. I have one bag of those left. I just finished the birthday cake ones the other day. The churro, the cinnamon churro are one of my favorite. And then Bronson this time ordered their seasonings. So they have seasonings, and these two particular seasonings, they don't have flavored pork rinds with these seasonings. So we got the seasonings so we could try them. He's been putting the taco seasoning on his ground beef, and he is absolutely obsessed with this. I just tried their bourbon seasoning. Now this one has some sugar in it, turbinado sugar. So this one you got to be a little easier handed on, but the rest of them do not. Now, you have to be able to handle dairy because the majority of their flavors have dairy in them. I don't do dairy, so the salt and vinegar and the dill pickle do not have any dairy. So those are my top 2 of the savory ones. And then I like all the sweet ones, of course, because I still have a sweet tooth. So it satisfies that salty, crunchy, and sweet. And if you're looking for the best cereal replacement, it may sound weird, pork rinds cereal, but it's amazing. I actually put a recipe up on my my recipe page, FYI. I need to put that in my description box as well. I have a recipe page on Instagram where I post recipes. That's where I try to post absolutely every recipe because I don't always write recipes down. But it is called Keto Bikini Kitchen. And I have that linked from my main Instagram, so you can find it that way. But I put the pork rind cereal on there. And I used to do it with plain regular pork rinds you can get at the grocery store. And then I would just crunch them up into smaller pieces. And then I would put protein powder. Speaking of protein stuff, I would sprinkle some protein powder on there and then use my favorite creamer, dairy-free creamer, as the milk, and it is so good. So that's my favorite, or that's Bronson's favorite crunchy, salty snack. Also, and I just finished the last bag, or I'd be able to show you, carnivore snacks with an X. All of our codes, by the way, are always in the description box. We have a bunch of codes for a bunch of these companies that you can't find in the grocery stores. 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to tell you, and this relates to the topic of the whole protein junk food stuff, right? All of the healthiest snack foods or foods in general, you either are going to find them in the real food section of the grocery store, not down the aisles, or you're not going to find them in grocery stores. You're going to have to go to the producer directly because producers of really healthy foods are not putting a bunch of crap that is keeping them shelf stable for a very long period of time for them to be able to be sold in major grocery chains. There's so much red tape just even being able to get into a grocer. So check out my link on my website, nataliejgrasso.com. There's a link to Coach Nat's favorites. That's where I put all of my most up-to-date brand partners, discount links and codes. Everything lives there. And I have a bunch of different, products that I love, snacks that I love. I also have my Amazon storefront down there, where I have a whole bunch of different lists for different topics. So like gym equipment and mindset books. And one of those is keto carnivore snacks, things you can get on Amazon. And so I have those links on there as well. I don't remember if Pork and Good is on Amazon, but they run deals a lot. And here's my little tip, my little trick to getting a lot of the best brands, really good deals. TikTok. For those of you who are not on TikTok, I have a channel, but I don't do anything with it. I usually use TikTok just to scroll for entertainment. And I have found I've gotten the best deals on Pork and Good from TikTok and Bones Coffee Company, which is where I like to get my flavored coffees. Incredible deals on TikTok that I have not been able to get directly. So there's my little tip trick there for the good deals. Or always use an influencer code because never pay full price for anything. That's my my jam. But yeah, carnivore snacks with an X. Their stuff is literally just meat and salt. But they have some kind of process that allows them to make these meat snacks. They're basically meat chips better than anybody else. I've tried pretty much every brand that's out there. There's one new brand that I just discovered. I think it's called Meat Chips. I don't know if that's the name of the brand or just the name of the product. I have it saved, or I had it saved. I may have closed it because I'm trying not to break the bank. But another friend of mine who's an influencer has a code with them, Courtney Luna. If you don't know Courtney Luna, you can check out her stuff. She has a bunch of good brand partners as well. Yeah, you'd have to look up Meat Chips because I don't remember if that's the name of the company or not. But I haven't tried those yet. But I've tried a lot of the others, and nobody is as good as Carnivore Snacks. They are just these thin sliced steak, basically. They have brisket, ribeye, New York strip, top round, so you can get as lean or as fatty as you want. And they're super thin and they're super crispy and salty. So they're amazing. We just got a big shipment, and now we finished all of the bags. I had one, I was showing the duck cracklins, which is one of their new products that's basically all duck skins, really high fat, but really, really tasty. So I need to make another order myself. So actually that brings up, I was thinking, since it's November and Black Friday is coming up, I think next week's topic, I will just do a rundown of products because I have now gotten a lot more companies reaching out to send me things. So I have some things that have arrived. I literally have a box right there that I haven't opened yet of a brand new supplement that I haven't tried yet. I have another one that I've opened that I haven't tried yet. And then I have one that I've been using for the last couple of weeks that I haven't talked about yet. I've got a box over there with gym gear that I need to try. I'll just go ahead and tell you what it is. It's a weighted vest. I have never been a weighted vest person. I've never trained with weighted vests. I've never hiked with weighted vests, but it's become super popular, and this company reached out. So I thought I'd give it a try. I owe them a video. I have to do a dedicated video for them. So I'll be telling y'all about that pretty soon. So I've got to get organized and figure out what I have that I haven't shared yet. What products I like, because I'm always going to keep it 100% real with y'all. If I don't like a product, I'm going to tell y'all that, and I'm not going to get a code and try to push a product that I don't like or that I wouldn't use myself. Usually all the products that I have codes or discount links for, I use myself regularly and I purchase with my own dollars. So I figured we could do like a holiday gift guide or product roundup next week where I can just talk about foods, supplements, products in our space, keto, carnivore, and fitness related that you could put on your Christmas list. You can think about buying for the people in your life who would appreciate those things. Usually a few of the big brands that I work with will do special influencer deals for Black Friday. I don't know how early I'm going to know the details of those deals. Usually they don't like us to promote them too early. So we could do that. Let's see. Next week is the 10th and then the 17th. So the 17th might be better to do that one, or maybe even the 24th. That way I'll have all the details about all the Black Friday deals. So one of the next couple weeks I'll do that. And then I'll just pull stuff out and I can show y'all and show and tell all the latest, greatest things that I'm trying. But another thing I have, if you're not fully carnivore, fully animal-based, for years, my favorite little crunchy, salty snack was pumpkin seeds. And I still enjoy pumpkin seeds from time to time. That's been lately, daily, I've been having some. It's this company called Go Raw. I'll show that one to y'all too. I like this company because they are sprouted. They're organic and sprouted. So this actually would segue well into the topic of the people leaving carnivore and do you need to add carbs and all that, because there's these conflicting messages out there in the space about plants are trying to kill you. You should never eat anything from a plant. It's wrecking your gut and it's causing all these problems. And ultimately what it comes down to is certain plant foods have some really great nutrients, high level of nutrients in them, micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. But they also contain anti-nutrients that make it difficult for your body to receive and absorb and utilize those nutrients. So it's not necessarily that they're trying to kill you or that you're going to be poisoned. Sure, if you eat raw cassava, you will be poisoned. But not a lot of us are sitting here gnawing on raw cassava. So this is the one. Go Raw organic sprouted pumpkin seeds, and these are salted also. They are really good. But the concept is like nuts and seeds are a perfect example. Legumes, nuts, seeds, and even grains back in the day originally were processed differently. They were fermented, they were sprouted, they were soaked, so that, or they were boiled. I mean, all these things that we would do to them to make them more bioavailable, make the nutrients inside that are locked inside and protected by these anti-nutrients to help get some of those anti-nutrients out so that we can access the nutrients inside the food. So are they like pepitas? Yeah, basically they're just the kernel of the seed, so they're not in shells. So yeah, they're exactly pepitas basically. And because they're sprouted, they are super light and crunchy. So like if you've ever gotten the raw pumpkin seeds that are like chewy, these are, you can hear it. Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. My breakfast for years when I first started keto was hard-boiled eggs, pumpkin seeds, and avocado. That was my jam every single day because I worked in an office. I pretty much ate all my meals at work. I lived at work. So breakfast, I would always just be able to just bring it with me, and then hard-boiled eggs, pumpkin seeds, and avocado. So I love those. Salted macadamia nuts, especially when you are new to keto and you are adapting and learning to become fat adapted. So you need your fats to be higher when you're first going keto. Macadamia nuts are great for that. Very high fat. They're one of the lowest carb nuts you're going to find. Basically macadamia nuts, pecans, and walnuts. Those are the lowest carb, highest fat in that realm. Cashews are going to have your highest carbs. Peanuts have high carbs, higher carbs, almonds. And I would say almonds and peanuts are going to be the hardest on your system in terms of, almonds are very high in oxalate. Peanuts tend to have carry mold. So, and then beans and legumes and nuts and seeds can be disruptive to the gut. So if you are dealing with gut issues, they can be difficult to break down. Like I said, soaking and sprouting helps. And you can soak and sprout your own, or you can buy them that way. They are more expensive that way, but I think this is the big bag I get at Costco. So it's pretty affordable and it lasts a long time. This is a 1 pound, 6 ounce bag. If you were to buy it at like a local Sprouts, you're going to spend a lot more. So yeah, if you're eating from the plant kingdom, high fat nuts and seeds are a great little snack. Let's see. Let's talk protein. So if you saw the clip I shared earlier about all the protein garbage out there, it's one of those like facepalm moments, I guess I'm glad that all of these junk food companies didn't catch on to the protein craze until now, because I'm surprised. I was surprised it took them so long. I'm surprised we didn't see protein Reese's peanut butter and protein Snickers 10 years ago, because protein bars have been a thing for a long time, for decades. Now, granted, the original, back in the day, protein bars were disgusting. They were just these goopy chewy, tasteless. Ugh, like you're not going to eat those unless, you were a gym bro and you really thought it was helping you with your gains or something. But these days, the good news is that the importance of protein is being shared more by larger people with larger platforms like Dr. Gabrielle Lyon and her mentor, Don Layman, and then of course the fitness industry bastardizes things. And then first it starts with the fitness industry and all their garbage. And I actually talked about this a couple weeks ago when I did my update after I came back from the Olympia. I was talking about going through the Olympia Expo and seeing all of the garbage products. These protein products, I think I shared on that video that they gave us this big bag. I think it was, I don't want to throw them under the bus. Was it First Form or Rule 1? It was one of those. They gave us this big bag. I sat down, started pulling things out of the bag. Every single thing was garbage, junk ingredients. Colors, artificial flavorings, artificial sweeteners. The only real ingredients in there was the whey protein, isolate or concentrate. And I'll tell you, they're buying the cheapest that they can get from the cheapest manufacturer, most of these companies. Very few of these companies out here are actually even getting really good quality whey protein. And it's coming with a lot of fillers and a lot of crap. It's just as bad as the junk food companies adding protein to their stuff. Most of the stuff from these fitness supplement companies are just as bad. Yes, Aaron, the power bars. I remember those back in the day. I had my first, I became passionate about fitness when I was like 12 years old. Granted, I lost that passion along the way and then refound it again in my 30s. But at 12 years old, I was like obsessed with Miss Fitness America. I used to watch, on ESPN, and I was like rollerblading. And we were just talking about this the other day, Ronson and I. I had a little checklist of like, drink this much water a day, do a workout every day. Like I was into it at 12 years old, playing racquetball and, oh my gosh, Victoria Principal. I know, Karen, you have to know who Victoria Principal is. My mom had a Victoria Principal book with the whole like 2-piece leotard thing with the shorts and like the whole aerobics. And I used to do her workouts from that book. Hilarious. So anyway, I was like obsessed with that stuff back in the day. So yeah, power bars, all that garbage. It's all garbage. Yeah. She says, oh yes. Back in the days. So yeah, it's upsetting to say the least. Yes, Maria Jane Fonda, the Jane Fonda days, jazzercise. Heck yeah. Thigh Master. Thigh Master, yes. The original abduction workout. Oh boy, good times. That's fun. We should have a little post. Okay, I'm going to do a thread in the Facebook group. Everybody like post what you remember from fitness in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Oh boy. Yeah, so I will just say this about the whole adding protein to junk foods. It's no better than the protein products have been for the last 30, 40 years. I mean, they're for the most part, they're all garbage. So I say all that. I have, and this is, it's funny. I was going to release, and I'll release it this week. I have a masterclass that I realized was not public on my channel called Bridge Foods. How and when to use bridge foods. This is another great tip for newbies to keto, but really anybody, especially if you're struggling, if you're one of these people who has a sweet tooth, who keeps falling off the wagon and getting back into the junk and then having to get back on track. Bridge foods are what I basically call foods that help you get over the bridge. You are trying to go from A to B and you keep falling off and struggling. Especially as we look ahead at the holidays and we make plans for navigating the holidays, right? Halloween just passed. That would be a great holiday to have some bridge foods, so you're not diving into your kids' Halloween candy. Thanksgiving and Christmas, notorious, right? If you're trying to avoid alcohol, especially at those holidays, and then New Year's, having a bridge drink is a great idea. So I will release that masterclass live for those who missed it when I originally put it out a couple of years ago, later this week. But all that to say, I make my own protein foods with other real foods. So my favorite way to do it is yogurt. And because I'm dairy free, I use coconut yogurt, and it is clean without all the added sugar and added fruits and all that other stuff to it. And then I will put my protein powder in it to make whatever flavor I want. Chocolate peanut butter, vanilla, strawberry, iced coffee, one of my favorites. So many of y'all, most of y'all here know my preferred protein brand, Equip Prime Protein. Equip Foods, very clean, incredibly clean ingredients, real food ingredients, beef isolate based. There's nothing wrong with whey protein if you can handle it, if you can tolerate dairy, okay? I generally recommend whey isolate because it's the easiest to digest and assimilate, especially for those who do have dairy sensitivities. Usually, if it's a lactose sensitivity, you can generally handle the whey isolate. The whey concentrates and the milk protein concentrates also have the casein. And so that's going to be a much higher dairy content. And so if you're a person who struggles with dairy or just deals with a lot of inflammation, those types can tend to be more inflammatory. But whey protein is, while it is processed, it is a processed food. If you want to call it a food, it's a supplement, really. It's intended to be a supplement to your diet. It's intended to be supplementary. And while I am a huge fan of bridge foods, make a protein ice cream if you are craving ice cream and you're about to go dive into Ben & Jerry's. A protein ice cream, making some creamies, some Ninja Creamy protein ice creams in advance and having those available for when you are having that craving is a fantastic substitute. But it shouldn't be a staple. It shouldn't be replacing real food in your diet. And that's something you can control the ingredients of because you're doing it yourself. This stuff that's on the shelves, and I'll just say this is the same thing, it's just as bad as all the keto labeled products out there. I generally recommend that if it has keto on the label, don't buy it because it's marketing. They're trying to get you. All the keto breads out there, they're not keto. That's not a keto food. Most of the keto breads have gluten, have wheat, have all the same things that you find in regular bread, but they add extra fiber so they can subtract the fiber from the total carbs and tell you it has 2 net carbs or 1 net carb or 0 carb bread. There is no such thing as 0 carb bread. Unless you are making your own egg white bread, in which case, I've done that before. Yes, Karen says, cloud bread all the way. Bronson has requested that I make another batch of my pumpkin bread. And I just got some packets of a protein powder. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but our friends at Keto Chow are dropping 2 new limited edition, I believe it's limited edition, holiday flavors on Wednesday. I'm not sure if these are brand new flavors or if they've had them in the past, but they're doing their holiday drop on Wednesday. So I can share it then. But let's just say one of them is my favorite flavors. One of my favorite, actually both of them are my favorite winter holiday flavors. So I will be making things with keto chow, and that is milk-based. Milk, I believe they use a milk protein. I'll have to double check in their main line. So from time to time, when there's a flavor I'm really excited about, I will do some things with it, make some things with it, and just try to use small amounts because I can handle it in small amounts. I just can't handle it on a regular basis. But I'm very excited to try one of those in my protein bread. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So I'll be making some of that. My tip generally here when we're talking about protein foods, make your own and make them with real food ingredients and let them be your bridges. Let them be something you can go to when you're really wanting to go eat the real thing that's going to be loaded with sugar and loaded with garbage, junk ingredients. And you can do a better version yourself and add some protein to it. But none of these protein foods, whether you're making them yourself or you're buying them in the store, should ever replace or be used to get a substantial amount of the protein of your personal protein goal for your day, right? When you're talking about trying to get enough protein to sustain your body for the gains, right? To build lean muscle, to protect and preserve the muscle that you have, especially as you age, for all the function in your body, because protein is the building block of the body. Every cell of our body, all of our organs and tissues, they're made with amino acids. And yes, these protein powders have the amino acids, especially the whey-based ones, have all the amino acids, but those are in isolation. A steak, a pound of ground beef, whole eggs, fish, salmon, chicken, turkey, pork, meats and eggs, real food protein sources come with natural fats, come with vitamins and minerals in their full, complete package. So it's not just the isolated amino acids. It's got everything else you need with it too. So my recommendation always is just to not replace real food meals with it. Now, from time to time, if I find myself eating a whole bag of pork rinds and it was not on the plan, and I'm dialing in my macros, then I'm going to have to cut something else out later in the day. And there has been once or twice in my past where I ended up having to skip dinner because I was going to blow my macros if I still had my dinner and my pork rinds. But that is an oops moment. That should not be the plan. Okay, so that's the difference. And those oops moments should be rare. They should not be happening every week. We should not be like, oh, it's Friday. Today's the day I have pork rinds and a protein creamy and I'm good. Like, no. It might look fine on the macros, but nutrition and health and wellness is so much more than the macros. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on all this protein garbage on the shelves. Don't be fooled. It's marketing. In fact, my best advice, no matter where you are in your journey, is if you are buying anything in a package, read the ingredients. I don't give a damn what the numbers of the macros are if the ingredients are garbage. Organic sprouted pumpkin seeds and sea salt are the only 2 ingredients in this package. Then I can look at the macros and say, okay, 15 grams of fat, 8 grams of protein, and 3 grams of carbs in a quarter cup. That's 30 grams. I generally don't have that much in one sitting. I generally will have half of a serving. So half of a serving would get me about 7.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein, and 1.5 carbs. So this is not going to get me to my protein goal. It's going to have me eating a whole lot of fat. But if I'm new to keto and I need to get my fats up, it's a great source. Or if I'm eating lean meats and I need to pair it with something to boost the fat content, great. If you are able to handle plant matter like this. So that's my 2 cents there. Just always read ingredients. They can sneak things into anything. But the worst is, when you take something that's already garbage and you just add protein to it and now you're trying to say it's healthy. Grr. It's the same thing as, I know Aaron will relate to this, putting gluten-free on the label and now all of a sudden it's supposed to be healthy. It's garbage without gluten in it. Just because it doesn't have gluten doesn't make it healthy, doesn't make it something you should be putting in your body. Just because it's keto doesn't mean it needs to go in your body. Yes, Valentina, I know this is like resonating for you right now too. She said there are a bunch of crazy recipes out there. I am keeping it simple. Yes, ma'am. And I gotta say, I'm so grateful that I had food sensitivities, because had I gone keto just for the body composition goals, just to lose body fat, or as unfortunately most people turn to it just for weight loss and they're not even thinking about body composition, then anything goes. Oh, it's keto. It's okay. It's keto, right? And this is why people get stuck, because at first, even if they're eating that junk, just because they cut out all the standard American diet garbage, they will still likely lose weight. And they're going to lose weight at first because it's water weight, because they're no longer eating 300 carbs a day. But as soon as that settles out, now they stop losing and they're wondering why. And usually it's because they're eating a lot of processed keto garbage. Yeah, Aaron says, blah. I think gluten-free processed foods are so much worse than the real thing. Agreed. And then it's like, some of these things are naturally gluten-free. Like, you don't need to put gluten-free on it. And real foods, y'all, are single ingredient. Real foods don't need ingredient labels. If there are ingredient labels, chances are it's most likely not real food, unless, of course, it has one ingredient plus some salt or whatever. But no, single ingredient foods. We should be looking at ingredients, not products, basically, in general. And then, yes, Valentina brings up the recipes situation. This is why another major recommendation I make for anybody who's new to keto, new to low carb, new to carnivore, new to tracking macros, especially if you're new to tracking macros. I highly recommend not doing recipes. Do single ingredient meals or combine 2 meats into a meal. That's another thing, especially if you're going carnivore and you're like, how do I compose my meals? Because you're so used to having these meals that are recipes that have multiple ingredients, and now it's like weird to you. That was a mind F for me when I first went carnivore. It was like, just meat on a plate, just meat in a bowl. Well, what are you going to have with it? It was like, because that's what was ingrained into my mind, right? So when you no longer have the veggie sides, or if you're still doing carb sides, like starchy carb sides and a veggie side, and like the way you were taught to put a plate together, it can feel weird to just have one piece of meat on the plate. Now, I'll tell you what, it didn't feel weird to me when I had that 10-ounce ribeye for breakfast. I was perfectly happy with just the ribeye. But this is where you can pair things together. Ground beef in a pan fried until it's crispy, and then with a couple of fried eggs. Amazing. Amazing. A lot of my ladies, I know Karen likes to do shrimp with her steak to balance out the lean protein from the shrimp with the fattier cuts of meat and cuts of steak. You could do chicken and steak. You could do, think about it like fajitas, right? When you go out for fajitas at a Mexican restaurant, you can order a mixed grill. You can get chicken and shrimp, steak and shrimp, chicken and steak. chicken steak and shrimp. You can get different things and put them together. So that's a way that you can kind of make your meals a little bit more fun and a little bit more variety without it even needing to be a recipe. Just pair different meats together, pair eggs and meat together. And if you are having veggies and things from the plant kingdom, you're more keto and not fully carnivore, pick that green veggie. That's the way I always used to do it. I wasn't big into recipes because I don't like things that take a long time to prepare and that I have to go buy a bunch of different stuff for it. And then it might go bad if I don't use it all. It's too much for me. I like to keep it simple myself. So even before I went carnivore, it would just be meat and a vegetable side, or 2 meats and 2 vegetable sides. That's basically the way that worked. It was like 1, 2, or 3 ingredients on the plate, and that was it. So with some simple herbs, like you don't have to cut out all seasoning unless you know for sure you're sensitive to something. I don't do well with spicy things, so I don't do spicy seasonings. If you're a person who always bought like the seasoning blends, that's somewhere that there could be hidden sugars or other additives, preservatives to keep it from, like anti-caking agents and things of that nature. So I prefer to get single ingredient dried herbs, and then I can mix and match and create my own things where I want to. So, my go-tos are salt, black pepper, garlic, rosemary. Sometimes I'll do thyme, sometimes I'll do dill. If I'm going to do any combo spices, I love curry powders. I have to watch to make sure it's not the spicy ones. So I'll read those ingredients to make sure whatever's in the blend is just the spices and not other things, and that it doesn't have those red peppers in it. I love chimichurri. So I found recently a chimichurri at Whole Foods, the 365 brand. That's really good. I just ran out of it today, but that's what I like to put on my steak a lot of the time. I have Italian seasoning blends that are just the Italian seasonings mixed together in a package that doesn't have anything else in it. So read ingredients. It doesn't matter. Even if it's a spice blend, read the ingredients because you're not sure what's in that. Just get in the habit of never purchasing a single thing without reading the ingredients first. Oh, Karen, you're speaking to my heart with this one. I love having meat with a side of meat or deviled eggs. Deviled eggs are Bronson's favorite thing. Whenever we do holidays, his mom makes him a whole plate of deviled eggs because he will eat all of them and then none of us will get any. I love deviled eggs too. And actually, that's another great little tip for those who are starting keto and are needing to keep that fat high. Deviled eggs are a great way to do it because your hard-boiled egg is already pretty much 1-to-1 fat to protein by grams. And then you add the clean mayo. If you're using mayo, get a Chosen Foods or a Primal Kitchen avocado oil-based mayo, or make your own mayo. You can do it with bacon fat, with tallow. I'm an Italian Greek girly. Like I said, if the carnivore police want to come after me, they can come after me, but you're not going to be able to pry the olive oil out of my cold, dead Greek fingers, because that's going with me to the grave. So olive oil, you can make your own olive oil mayo. So there's a lot of different ways you can make your own mayo. Or you can do deviled eggs without mayo at all. I used to do it with just olive oil and mustard. A little pickle juice for that dill kick. You can put a little fresh dill in there. There's so many different ways to make deviled eggs. That would be another fun thread in the Facebook group. Just do how do you make your deviled eggs? Like, we can all share deviled eggs recipes. I'd love that. It's a great way to prep for the holiday events. Oh, I love this idea. Some of the elements are great meat and fish seasonings. Mango chili and the habanero. I agree. I really like the lemon. What is it? Wait, you said it. Lemon. It's mango chili and lemon habanero. No. Is it lemon habanero? I think. Anyway, I like that one on chicken wings. It is so good on chicken wings. And what did I recently put? Okay, I bought guacamole for the first time in a long time. That's another thing Whole Foods does very well. They make really good, clean, fresh guacamole in their prepared food section. I put the mango chili in the guacamole and it was amazing. Maria, the one for the chicken wings, lemon habanero. And that's what we were doing in Florida on the retreat, because I brought some packets of that and I put that on the chicken wings we had on the retreat. Maria was with us on our Florida retreat last year. And for anybody who doesn't know, a few times a year, this year we only did one. Did we just do one retreat this year? Yeah, we did the Vegas retreat this year. Last year we did Florida and Mexico. I will be doing retreats again in 2026. I want to do at least 2 next year. So I'm already thinking ahead. I'm thinking one either late spring, summer, and then maybe one in the fall. I've been wanting to do a fall one. Grace, is your Facebook the same title as YouTube? Yes. My Facebook group is Keto Bikini Secrets, same as the YouTube channel. And the link is in the description of this video, so you can find the link there. Yes, yes, yes. And then I also have a Facebook page, I believe, Coach Nat, but I don't really do anything there. It's all in the group. Let's see. All right, so I talked about the protein crap. Don't buy it. Don't fall for it. Make your own with good protein. I make my own protein coffee all the time. I don't need Starbucks crappy coffee. And then I talked about the crunchy snacks, and I kind of touched on it, but I didn't really share about the keto versus carnivore versus carbs. And it's really more of a carnivore versus carbs is what the trend is becoming. Really, I think it's so not a big deal. I mean, if you really think about it, I think it's so not a big deal, but it's been blown out of proportion, mostly by the peanut gallery. I would say there have been a couple of influencers, large influencers, who were carnivore, like staunchly carnivore and very, very vocal about plants trying to kill you and about being very strict carnivore, who have changed what they're doing and have added in more variety or more carbs. And then because of that, everybody else started talking about it. So it feels like it's this massive thing where everybody's leaving carnivore, everybody's quitting carnivore. But I think it's just because those couple of people were, had pretty large followings, and then that started other people talking about it. And because now it's trending, now even more people are talking about it, it's becoming more of a thing. But I don't think there's large numbers of people who are adding back carbs and then doing much better with carbs than they did on carnivore. But what I see that's troubling to me is that, well, there's a few things. That some people have used this as a platform to bash carnivore, to tell people that it's going to be bad for everyone long-term and that you shouldn't do it long-term, that you're inevitably going to end up with all of these problems. and that you need carbs, and, just that's one of the things that I'm seeing that I'm not happy about. But it's what happens, right? When, because a lot of these people are outside of the carnivore space. They've never even done it themselves, but they're using it as this platform. See, it's bad for you. It's going to be bad for everyone. And they're using that as evidence. One person's experience is not evidence of something being bad for everyone. In fact, my position, and if you've been around these parts at all, you know my position, that there is not one perfect ideal way that every single human should be eating the exact same way. Not possible. We are all bio-individuals. We are different. We are similar in that we are all human beings, but we have different experiences, upbringing, health conditions, or health status. We have different psyche, different psychological dispositions. We have different emotions. We have different life circumstances. We have different goals. We have different bodies. I mean, there's just so many things, so many factors that play in. This is why, as a coach, I am not a carnivore coach. I am not a keto coach. I'm a coach. And even though the Keto Bikini Academy is called keto in the title, the ladies in my academy are everywhere from 0 carb to low carb, which is a very gray area of like what is considered low carb. There are opinions out there of what that number of carbs is that makes it low carb. But in general, I would say if you are eating clean, real food, for the most part, avoiding things like grains and processed carbs, refined sugars, you're going to be in the low carb space. You're going to be eating low carb just by virtue of eliminating those things, unless you are just doing everything you can to OD on starchy vegetables, which is a difficult thing to do, to get to the level of carbs that are in a standard American or standard, westernized world diet today. You're not going to match that when you're not eating that crap. So, even when I was paleo, when I first went paleo, before I ever even knew what macros were, I was low carb just by virtue of cutting out the grains and the processed foods and the junk foods and the sweets. So I work with women all over that spectrum. And I meet them where they are, because no two women are the same. It's very rare that two members are even going to have the same macros. And if they do, you can have the same macros, but macros tell us very little about what you're eating. Your protein, fat, and carbs can be set at the same numbers as someone else, but you could have a completely different plate in front of you for each meal of the day that other person is eating. So individuals need individual tailored recommendations, advice, guidance. And that's just my big gripe in general with influencers touting diet advice to people, in general, because a lot of it is, this is what I did. This is what, quote unquote, worked for me. Now, hey, pay me and join my group and I'll teach you how to do what I did. That's what the majority of what's out there. That is not what I do. Let me be clear. I do not advise people to do what I did because it worked for me. I did not create a protocol that's the ideal way of eating because this is what I did once that got me this particular goal. And I see too much of that out there. And that's what's bothering me. That's the other thing that's bothering me with this, is that those who have jumped ship, or not even jumped ship, first of all, like I said, I think it's been blown out of proportion. I think those who have transitioned, for the most part, have just added some plant foods back into their diet. Maybe just fermented foods. Maybe just Dr. Kiltz, for example, added salmon. He was only eating beef before. He added salmon. He's talked for a long time about having his Kiltz ice cream and French fries from time to time. That's not new. He's always been doing that. I am hearing him talk more about, or no, did he say he hasn't tried broccoli yet? But he's opening up to the idea of it. So this is what we're talking about here, right? This is not what people are making it out to be. I don't know everything Lisa Wiedemann has done, but I know one of her earlier videos I saw, she was just talking about adding in cucumbers and fermented foods. So I don't know if she's totally now gone the other direction or not. I haven't seen any of that. But I'm seeing other people out there who are, like I said, I think capitalizing on this and then going to the extreme in the other direction and putting in a ton of carbs and then making it sound like that's the panacea, that the carbs fixed everything and that carnivore was the problem. And that bothers me too, because we're not getting the full picture of, what was everything that they did. They're claiming to have done everything, quote unquote, perfectly. What does that even mean? Right? Maybe if you did the exact same thing for 10 years, maybe you shouldn't have done the exact same thing for 10 years. Maybe you needed to switch something up. And there's so many ways that you can try and adjust things within what you're doing if you want to, So all that to say, if you are carnivore and it changed your life and it improved your health and you're not getting the results that you want to get, there are lots of opportunities within staying carnivore that you can try, levers you can pull to improve. Watch Coach Bronson and my coffee chat yesterday. We gave some of those examples there. But if you need more help optimizing within carnivore or within keto or low carb without totally jumping ship and going to the other extreme, and if you're not sure if it's because you're carnivore or keto, or if there's something else you need to adjust or change in your lifestyle with your fitness or with your macros or with your micros or anything else, and you want some more help with that, you can come work with me one-on-one. I do have a link below where you can book a discovery call with me for free, and we can chat and I can tell you more about what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. Or you can join my Keto Bikini Academy. We do the exact same thing there that I do with my one-on-one clients. We just do it in a group environment. It's more affordable and you have the support of the group if you'd rather go that route. So I would love to help you so that you're not confused and unsure and just listening to all the voices. I think the thing that bothers me the most about it is clients, members, and my wider community, the ladies who are falling through the cracks with this because you're now confused, you're not sure what to listen to, who to believe, what direction to go, and it sends you spiraling into bad habits or off the wagon or changing what you're doing every week, or just second guessing yourself, because at the end of the day, what we say in the academy is you are the CEO. You need to know your body better than anyone else because you're the one living in it. And you can know your body better than anyone else if you observe, if you simply observe. I don't eat the same way all the time. I have times where I go stricter carnivore. And I will tell you, I was just chatting with my assistant coach today, saying every single time I go steak and eggs, beef, lamb, and eggs with simple seasonings, I feel better than ever. And there's a reason I tend to do that for my preps, for my competition prep cuts, because it makes things super simple. It makes tracking macros really easy. It makes grocery shopping and meal prep really easy. and I feel amazing. My digestion is better than ever. I don't have all the digestive discomfort, bloat, gas, any of that. The best I feel is when all I do is eat a ribeye, honestly, like this morning. But I also drink coffee. And like I said, I can't handle dairy. So I do coconut products in my coffee pretty much all the time. Like I said, sometimes I will I'll just feel like having more plant foods, let's say, carbs, if you want to call them that. Pumpkin seeds are not carbs. They have carbs in them, very small amounts, but this is a plant food. It's not carnivore. So sometimes I'll have these. Wild blueberries, I have those in the freezer right now. I've been doing little coconut yogurt bowls with wild blueberries, pumpkin seeds, sometimes dark chocolate, and protein powder to boost the protein of that a little bit. If I could handle dairy, I would do dairy-based yogurt, which already comes with the natural animal proteins in it, milk-based proteins in it, and then I wouldn't even need to add the protein powder. What are some other plant foods I consume? Olives, pickles, pretty regularly. I was really heavy into sauerkraut for a while. Then I started getting a little gassier than usual, so I actually cut that out a while back. Valerie, do you do mushrooms and onions? Steak sure is better with them. Goal is to stay keto. Something and lean out. What did you mean by that? I'm not sure. Oh, ketovore. Goal is to stay ketovore and lean out. I don't do mushrooms and onions. I used to. When I first went carnivore, I cut them out and I never brought them back in again. I think it was just more for the simplicity of meals without, like I said, buying them and preparing them and chopping them and all of that. I used to especially get them when I would go get a burger at a restaurant or something. But what I will say is at the restaurants, dining out at restaurants is when you want to be more carnivore because they are 9.9 times out of 10, they're cooking the vegetables in crappy oils, corn oil, peanut oil, or canola oil, some kind of vegetable oil blend. So unless you can be sure that you're getting your veggies out at restaurants without those oils, then usually I don't order them anymore when I go to restaurants either. But funny, we were just talking about this in our group chat on my Zoom call the other day. One of our members absolutely loves onions, and she's like, she was talking about the whole concept of like, well, I'm adding onions now, for my hormones. And I said, honey, you don't need to have a reason. You know what? I'm glad you asked this question because this is another piece of this trend lately and this controversy lately that's bothering me. Ladies, you do not need to have a scientific validation for why you're doing something. You don't need to be validated by science that you have to add vegetables or you have to add carbs for your hormones or for your thyroid or whatever you're hearing out there. That's the other thing that's bothering me is that for some of these people that I see speaking out about this, there is a desperation there of being validated in what they're choosing to do. So there's all this explanation. I do this because. But what they're missing when they do that is it's coming across as authoritative and it comes across as I'm telling you that this is bad for your hormones and you're going to have to do this. And that's how people are receiving it. And then they're being misled. And that bothers me. I would rather they come out and say, I wasn't losing weight because look, here we go. I said I was going to be real raw, unfiltered. They were no longer losing weight. That's what it comes down to. It wasn't that their hormones were tanked. It wasn't that their thyroid was tanked. They didn't like that they weren't losing weight. Now, is it possible that in individual circumstances, somebody did have thyroid issues? Absolutely. Somebody did have disrupted hormones or have issues with hormones? Absolutely. But to make blanket statements that carnivore did something to your hormones, I want to see the receipts. Show me the receipts. Explain the mechanisms, because that's not it. Not when so many women are thriving on it. So my issue is, don't tell people this. Although at the same time, it's what they truly believe to be true. That's why they're saying it. They believe it to be true. And it's misguided. It's misguided. It's very likely that if your hormones or your thyroid are tanked within the context of a keto or carnivore diet, you were likely under eating or malnourished in some way. And we talked about this yesterday, so I'm not going to go into the in-depth about all the ways that you may have been malnourished. We talked about it. Watch the coffee chat yesterday with Coach Bronson. But there you can and will tank your thyroid on any diet when you're under eating consistently over a long period of time. If you're under eating protein, if you are under eating fat, if you're under eating both. Yeah, so I won't dive into all that again, but all that to say, oh, Valerie, you had no idea that just mentioning mushrooms and onions was going to take me on that rant. But all that to say, we don't need that to validate us if we choose to go in another direction. If you're like, you know what, I'm sick of eating only meat and I wanted to do something different, that's valid. We are 360-degree humans. We are not one-dimensional. We don't live in a Petri dish. We don't live in a lab. We live in the real world. If you're like, you know what, it was too difficult for me to continue to do that with my family and my social engagements, I just wanted to have more variety and more flexibility. That's perfectly valid. All right. So let's get back to the mushrooms, onions, ketovore, way of eating. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about, how do I feel when I eat this food? Do I notice any negative feedback from my body? Like I said, there's a million different ways to eat within keto, carnivore, low carb, paleo, whatever you want to title your diet. There's a million different ways you could be eating within that. And each individual may react to certain foods. They may handle certain foods better than other people. So, for some people, onions are going to be a disaster for the way they're going to feel afterwards. For other people, it's great. It's wonderful. A while back, I stopped. I thought I had an issue with onions. I haven't tested it again. Although from time to time, I will use seasoning with onion in it. And I haven't gotten granular about noticing, does that bother me? I do notice some certain seasonings do bother me. Like I said, if I have too much spicy peppers, red pepper in particular. But yeah, I used to love sauteed onions and mushrooms. But these days, not so much. What else did I do? I bought some I love winter squash. That is definitely something every season I try to have some winter squash while they are seasonal. I bought a purple sweet potato and a white sweet potato, which I have not eaten yet. And now I'm kind of not interested anymore. I was really excited that it's finally purple sweet potato season and they started having them in the grocery stores again. So I bought one, and I bought a giant one because that's all they had at Whole Foods. It's like a pound. And now I have no interest in it. So hopefully it doesn't sprout into a tree because it's already starting to sprout little buds and go bad. But we'll see if I even use it. And that's, to me, it's so beautiful when it's not, when you can choose foods from a place of liberation. You're not addicted. You're not driven by your addictions. You're not obsessed and constantly thinking about the food you bought. Like years ago when I was in the midst of my bulimia, it would be, I have to finish this entire 1 pound, 6 ounce bag of pumpkin seeds and get it out of the house, because then I can't have it here because I can't control myself around it. And I did have times where I would actually binge on these, which is not even, it's not that enjoyable. But that's also another issue. We can put that on topic for another day, but like to get into the whole food addiction thing. A diet is not going to save you. It can absolutely be a helpful bridge when needed, when you're in the height of feeling food addicted. But there's hope on the other side. There is healing and there is recovery possible, I believe, for all people. Because of where I have been and where I am now, I truly believe anybody can get here. It's a beautiful place to be when you can have foods that used to be trigger foods in your home and choose to consume them in a small amount or not at all. And I don't mean trigger foods like garbage, junk, Oreos, processed, highly processed, palatable foods. I mean things like real food, one ingredient, nuts and seeds, for example. I bought a bag of Brazil nuts because I'd like to try and get some more selenium naturally without taking it in supplemental form. And I've been having 2 of those a day, which is about 7 grams. Because once again, you don't want to, some of these things you don't want to OD on, because those nutrients that are good for you are also, you can overdose on them. So you don't want to be going crazy on this stuff. But yeah, it's liberating and amazing that I'm not living my life in fear of foods, thinking I cannot have them around because I can't control myself. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, dude, I could riff on that for another hour, but we're already in an hour and a half. So as usual, I come into these sometimes with nothing to talk about. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight. And then I just blah, 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 blah. So thank you for letting me just blab away about whatever this week. And then maybe we'll have some more structured topics in future videos. But if not, we won't. We'll just sit here and chat and blab about whatever again. So thanks for being on with me. I'm going to call it a night. I've got to eat again. I'm hungry. So in the meantime, in between time, holler at me in the Facebook group, or if you're in the academy, feel free to shoot me questions or topics for future videos. And now you can mark your calendars for Monday evenings. Well, depending on where you are. If you're on the East Coast of the US, Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern for our regular Monday Night Live chit chat with Coach Nat. And I'll see y'all next week. Love you. Bye.